Cheers to this season finally getting a little bit interesting. This is good. What's up, ELiens? I'm back again with another video. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Simply Elle, and welcome to the ELiens gang. And if you're not new here, you know it's the regular madness. It's the regular madness. Thank you so much for coming back. Today I'm going to be discussing Love is Blind Season 8, episodes 7 through 9. I'm going to be going couple by couple as I normally do, but before we get into that, I do want to preface this video with a couple things, a couple of tea that I found out throughout the week. First being that apparently Brittany, our girl Bida, apparently she got engaged to the Gorimakpa man, Mo. Deven was not her only connection. She didn't leave the show simply because she was confused about her sexuality and all that stuff, like the show would like us to believe. Brittany was in a love triangle, but they did not show us any of that. This whole time that I was bored as hell, they were showing me Mason, Madison, Alex, and Meg. That led nowhere, but they couldn't show us Brittany getting engaged to Mo. The only downside about that is that Mo and Brittany's engagement did not last too long after their reveal, because apparently he doesn't date black women and she would have been the darkest girl he's ever dated. Is that one not drama? Why did we not get to see that? I feel like my time was wasted when I could have been entertained. My second issue with this Brittany situation is that they allowed us to believe that her journey on this show ended simply because she was confused about her sexuality. She stated that she was indecisive because she was in a love triangle with Mo and Deven. So that's what she was indecisive about, not that she was indecisive of whether or not she liked women and men and this and that and the third. But that was really, really messed up for the Love is Blind people to do, and it's some type of phobia and some type of ism. Leave your comments about this down in the comment section below. Next thing that we heard in the Love is Blind streets, the Love is Blind social media streets, is that Alex from Alex, Madison, Mason, and Meg might allegedly be a predator. It's come out that he allegedly might be into minors. And these allegations are coming from a series of Reddit threads that have existed way before he even got on this show. That is crazy. So this is how you are. Maybe, allegedly over this whole section. All right, that's it for the tea that I currently have right now. All right, as we move closer to talking about the couples, I want to mention these episodes were more interesting than the first 6. It did get more interesting towards episode 9, but these 3 episodes seemed like a breath of fresh air compared to what we were burdened with last week. Also, the couples mixer that they have this season was so dry. Literally nothing happened. We are used to everybody coming out of the pods and saying, ooh, this is the person I was talking to but didn't get engaged to. Ooh, maybe I found them attractive. Oh, maybe I'm attracted to this person more than I'm attracted to who I did get engaged with. Oh, let me just talk to her and see what's up. None of that happened. Nothing really interesting happened besides Dave going around asking people whether or not they had sex. And we also find out that Taylor pooped. So there's that. And almost everybody in this cast has an interesting or a crazy hating ass sister. Let's get into these couples. Monica and Joey. These two, I feel like they're likely gonna get married unless something really crazy happens. In my notes, the first thing that I have for them is that these two just be having fun. They seem to really like each other and they're always laughing. So we also learned about Joey's OCD. We learned that it's triggered by chaos or when things are out of his control. He was able to manage this OCD by himself through exposure therapy. As they get out of the engagement moon phase, they go into their apartment and they start discussing, and this is where we find out that at some point in Taylor's life, she found a spider's nest in the crotch of one of her jeans. I couldn't let this one go. I'm sorry, I had to mention it because I have arachnophobia. I don't like spiders. If I see a spider, I will freeze before I can kill it. For me to find it in the crotch of my jeans, girl, how? How did that happen? Apparently, it was from laundry that she never folded and it was at the back of her closet or whatever. And then when she tried to wear it one day, she saw a spider literally just crawl out. I said, ee? I'm sure Joey was judging her, but that's his fiance, so we listen, we don't judge. that Monica is into communal socks because this is a family practice that she's used to. Cool for her, but Joey is like, I am having no parts. A little while later, Joey meets Monica's family. The family does begin to ask questions, and they state that they chose each other mainly based on their personalities, and yeah, because they're literally the same person, just different chromosomes. And then at some point during this meetup, Monica's family proposes a fam jam where they pick up different instruments from this basket and they just jam to any song and they play the instruments and all that. It was a lot of fun to watch, and Joey was able to integrate really nice and smoothly. Now to the weird shit. Partner that Monica's sister has now used to want Monica, but Monica realized that they weren't compatible and thought he would be better for her sister, and now they're together. Joey makes a joke saying that maybe the guy is dating the sister simply to hang around Monica, waiting for his time, waiting for when it's gonna be his turn. I don't think Monica's sister liked that very much. Speaking of Monica's sister, Nicole, Monica's sister apparently doesn't like Joey. She doesn't think that Joey is the right guy for her, and she mentions that he's not her type, that Joey is a really good actor, and she tells us that she's very good at reading people. My notes on this was like, where is this coming from? The sister now says something that I feel like would give us a little bit more insight as to what she means by she doesn't think Joey is right for Monica. She says she believes that she should be getting married first because she's the oldest sister. She's 5 years older than Monica, so she should be getting married first. Bombastic side eye. Criminal offensive side eye. I think Monica should watch out for her sister. And this might not be what I'm thinking, but Monica, you should watch out for your sister. Have you seen Blood Sisters with Genevieve and Omotola Jalade? If you know, you know. After that, in episode 9, we see Joey and Monica back at their apartment folding clothes. Monica asks him how he thinks the family meeting went, and he says he thinks that it went okay, except for the fact that he doesn't think her sister likes him very much. Joey is very perceptive. And then he proceeds to read that situation, read that sister down like a book. He asks Monica why she thinks the sister doesn't like him. Monica admits that she doesn't really have a reason. She's just a hater. Joey then asks Monica if the sister has ever approved of any of her boyfriends. Monica says no. And then Joey asks if all of that stuff could be rooted in jealousy. Well, damn, Joey, because that's what I felt too when I was listening to it, especially that comment about being the one to marry first because she's older. Girl, as of now, Joey and Monica seem to be a very good couple. They seem to be going strong. We'll see what the next episodes unfold. Let's move on to our next couple, Instagram Gate, Taylor and Daniel. Daniel was denying, knowing her before coming on this show and coming here specifically to find her. He was denying all them allegations. And then she says she has the followers app and she can find out. After saying that, Daniel then says, well, I think it's possible that I followed you. And this really rubbed me the wrong way, honestly, because how did you go from definitively saying, no, I never did this, it's not possible, no, to now, after hearing that there's a way to know for sure, now your story is kind of tweaking. He kept saying, we were meant to find each other, and all of that can seem innocent when you're not being accused of stalking somebody before getting on the show. All of those things could be really coincidental, but they have so many coincidences, it's not even funny. Another coincidence happens as they're trying to hash out this Instagram situation. When she brings up this followers app, a producer comes into the scene and I'm like, who is this person? Comes to the scene and says, Taylor, if you want to find out the answers that you need, we can give you your phone. I said, oh, you people can do this? They broke the fourth wall low key. They give Taylor her phone. She's trying to look for the app, but there's no Wi-Fi. So she's like, oh, can I get Wi-Fi? It takes a second for somebody to come and give them the Wi-Fi. And they both in unison say, Bueller. And apparently that's a nod to the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I've never seen it, but it's something they both have in common. She begins to second guess herself as soon as she opens the app and she's scrolling and she can't find Daniel's Instagram. My thing during that whole situation was, does the app not have a search bar? Couldn't she have asked him, what's your Instagram name? name, let her type it in there, and made this whole thing faster. She starts to feel paranoid. She stops searching and she apologizes to Daniel for accusing him of doing something as crazy as stalking her. And Daniel, props to you. You are a very calm, patient person, because if it's me that you are accusing me of nonsense like that and then it ends up looking like it's not true, I'm gonna just tell you, you know what? It's cool. Let me free you. Free me. He affirms her fear and kind of validates it. And then he lets her know that if she's not comfortable going to the engagement moon, that they can just leave the show and, no pressure or nothing. Taylor decides to move forward with Daniel through this process and go to the engagement moon. They get to the engagement moon and she's, feeling really bad about accusing him of the Instagram thing. She says she feels really bad for the way she handled it. And Daniel continues to reassure her that, everything is okay. He understands where she's coming from and gives her grace. Now they're back from the engagement moon and Taylor now meets Daniel's parents. Daniel's family is the first family that I've ever seen be so accepting to the concept of this show. It could have something to do with the fact that they have an actual blind daughter. So maybe they can see the concept of this show from a different angle, an angle that I'm not able to access. They seem to be extremely supportive. They seem to have a very good foundation for their family and they're just a real joy to watch. They also seem to really like Taylor. Later on in the episode, Daniel meets Taylor's parents. Now, these people are not so accepting because Taylor's mom is not having any of it. She's like, where do you get the gall? Where do you get the temerity, the audacity to propose to my daughter without even talking to me first? She didn't do exactly that, but that's pretty much what she said. Taylor's dad, however, says he's easy. He's like, I'm cool if you're cool. A little while later, we find out that Daniel's parents is also coming to join them in this meeting. And I think this is probably the best step they could have taken for Taylor's parents, especially Taylor's mom, who is so apprehensive about the show. Daniel's parents come, they compliment Taylor's parents on their house. The house looks huge. The house looks really nice and really big. They also compliment them on their 50 years of marriage. Goddamn. We learned that Daniel's parents are at 34 years of marriage. That's a slew of experience between the two families, and I think if they were to get married, they would have a very, very strong support system. This could be a red flag or a green flag. It depends on your values and your beliefs, but Taylor's mom tells Daniel, she looks at him in his eyes. She said, what you mean? Look into my eyes. We don't have divorce in this family. We don't believe in divorce in this family. If you marry my daughter, it's for life. Gang gang. Daniel's parents agree with this. The meetup as a whole was very intentional and it was very useful. It wasn't just meeting just to meet because the show says you should meet your family. It really helped them gain a solid foundation for their marriage moving forward. And it was really sweet. There was a lot of crying. There was a lot of emotion. I love how the men in their family, in both families, are able to break down, get vulnerable, and show their emotions. At the end of the day, Daniel asks Taylor's parents for their approval to marry their daughter, and he gets it, especially the mama. Mom approves now. Taylor's mom is now on board with everything. She also gives her approval very excitingly. That's it for Taylor and Daniel. I have high hopes for them, unless we find out that Daniel is actually a stalker, but as of right now, I think he seems like a good guy. Now we got Ben and Sara, our activists. They seemed to be really enjoying themselves at the engagement moon. They seemed to want to eat each other up. I'm sure that they did the mommy and daddy. I'm sure they did the kerewa. They did the do. Couldn't seem to get enough of each other. I'm sure Black Lives Matter couldn't find its way into their bedroom. Sara was here swooning over this man like they didn't leave a big thing that's important to her unattended. I wrote in my notes that I wouldn't be surprised if they did freaky already. So y'all know what I was thinking. In episode 9, Sara meets Ben's friends and they ask what she was looking for. And she said she wanted fun, enthusiasm, and a zest for life. And guess what? Ben said, same girl. They ask about core values and beliefs. Ben says he's really into his faith. He's not super religious. He's spiritual. And Sara doubles down on her beliefs of activism, helping out with social causes, equal and basic human rights. Until it's time to find a man, Abby. Ben has not really showed you with his actions like he said he would that he has the same beliefs as you. The man didn't even vote. Like, y'all have a lot to unpack there. care. But hey, he's cute and Sarah's having a good time. Also, Ben brought a lesbian friend so that he can show her like, you know, I'm gonna be cool with your gay sister because I have a lesbian friend. Now to the other tea I have for you people. There's a girl on TikTok named Andra who made a video.
So someone just leaked to me some of the photos of the cast of the new season of Love is Blind that they're filming here in Minneapolis. I'm just exhausted and tired of society rewarding shitty men who treat women terribly.
Sara is the one that saw this video in the scene and she gasps. That gasp seemed kind of fake, but whatever. She's like, and Ben is like, what? And she's like, there's this girl on TikTok who's saying how reality show da 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 da. And then Ben is like, oh yeah, she's talking about me. I said, what? Sara also seemed to be surprised by this. What do you mean she's talking about you, Ben? He says that he saw the video earlier and dismissed it to not give the girl any attention, and then he blocked her because she blocked him. He hasn't spoken to the girl in over 4 years. He says that she's making things up about him, like how he manipulated her and treated her badly. As Sara continues to ask questions, he keeps saying that he doesn't really remember, but he remembers that he met her on Tinder 4 years ago. It was very brief. He can't remember why they broke up, and he can't remember why she would feel so compelled to make videos about him crying. And then he says that he ghosted her. Sara continues to probe. We find out that he had been to her house. They had shared a kiss, but he claims that they never slept together. This is where the episodes end, but you can see the red flags flying through Sara's head. And she tells him that she's not going to dismiss this girl just like that. She's going to keep asking him questions like she wants to know everything. So he needs to start remembering fast. I would say that Sara should definitely not let this go. She needs to tug on this rope until she finds out where it leads. Ben's way of handling this was very sketchy to me. He admits to have seen the video before Sara. So I'm wondering why he didn't bring it up to her and why she had to see it scrolling through her phone. Ben and Sara, like I said, these people should not have been together. They were incompatible since the pods. I don't know why Sara agreed to this engagement. Maybe her need to find a man is more important than her social justice issues that she keeps going on about. We'll see how this couple's story unfolds in the coming episodes. Moving on to Deven and Virginia. For these two, they seem to be getting along well. I feel like it was awkward at first, but Virginia lets us know that she's very attracted to Deven. We see them get a little freaky. However, we know that they didn't have sex because Dave, he was going around asking, did you have sex? Did you guys have sex? But yeah, we see them do excursions during the honeymoon. They get a nice looking massage. That massage looked so good. And then we see them hanging out by the pool, and then they get into the pool, and that's where it gets steamy. I was looking deeply in that pool scene, and I was seeing a little bit of kerewa. I'm not sure. They said they didn't have sex, but it looked like they were either dry humping or I don't know. Something was going down in that pool. And that scene, in my opinion, went on for a little bit too long. I'm like, can we please go somewhere else? Like, can we get in the private seat? You're telling me a cameraman was just there like, content, Love is Blind. I couldn't be on this show because get away from me. After the engagement moon, we're back in the real world and we see Deven's apartment. We see that he has no headboards, but he has thousands of dollars worth of shoes in his room next to his bed. But apparently it's not a worry because he only buys a pair of shoes once or twice a month. Those were a lot of shoes. And they're a lot of expensive shoes. It's not just regular shoes. Then we go to Virginia's place and they discuss finances. They each state their goals and how financially responsible they are. Virginia wants to be a millionaire and Deven wants a basketball empire. Deven asks about separate accounts. Virginia would prefer separate accounts and one account for like household things. And she mentions a prenup. Smart girl. You are doing this show smart. Deven says he hadn't thought much about it, but Virginia says she believes it's better to work out the details of splitting assets, walking away with what you came with, and all that stuff beforehand in the unfortunate event that they do get a divorce. They do end that conversation saying that they'll talk more about it. And then we find out that Deven has student loans and medical bills from his surgery that he is halfway through paying off. Virginia says that she doesn't mind helping him pay off his debt as long as it makes sense for their their family. With the prenup conversation, I like how Virginia gives him like a soft landing. She plays into his ego. She tells him, you know, when you do your basketball empire, when you're making all this money, God forbid that we divorce, I wouldn't want to take all of that from you. I want you to still be able to reap from what you sowed. Moving on further along in the episodes, Virginia meets Deven's parents, and y'all, the dust. His mom is a white woman named Becky. I thought that was hilarious. Then they begin to talk about their pod experience. You know how the family members would be like, so how did you choose each other? So why did you choose each other? Stuff like that. And I can't really remember what they spoke about. I just summarized it to they spoke about their pod experience because it was lackluster. Their connection for me wasn't that great of a connection, and we all know why he chose her. So yeah, they speak about their pod experience. They speak about their faith, which is very important to Deven's family. It's also important to Virginia. Then they talk about having kids and fertility, and I really don't like how Deven's sister brings up her age when talking about this, saying that I have big age. How can she expect to have a child, basically? Honestly, Virginia handles herself gracefully. She's a very graceful person. She basically tells them, I plan on having kids and it will happen, even if I have to freeze my eggs or any other method. Their number was between 2 to 5. Virginia's number was 2 to 6, but they settled on 2 to 5. Having more than 2 kids for me is extremely unnecessary. The topic then shifts to 50-50 versus traditional. Deven's brother-in-law asks, do you believe in 50-50 or are you a traditionalist? Virginia says that they do believe in 50-50 in some aspects and whatever makes sense for their family. Is there lipstick on my teeth? Oh my God. She's okay to do things like cooking. She plans to be, barefoot and pregnant with a child on her hip, cheering him on at the basketball games. Okay, that's their empire. That's their future. That's what they want. They ask at some point if she would be open to having their parents stay with them if something were to happen to them instead of putting them in a nursing home. Virginia says that would be perfectly fine because she doesn't like nursing homes anyways. I have it in my notes that I don't really know how I feel about the questions that Deven's family were asking Virginia, but Virginia handles herself very well. And then she mentions the prenup. While she was acquiescing to all their other stuff, like, yeah, I'll do this, yeah, I'll do that, I'm okay with this prenup thing, she didn't back down from that. I love that she stood on business, not just because in this day and age, I think a prenup is smart, but on a show like Love is Blind, imagine if Tyler and Ashley had a prenup. This show has the ability to pair you with a crazy person. It has the ability to pair you with a predator. It's good to have things written down and legally binding. And you can see when she brings it up, the brother-in-law goes like, and the sister did not like it. The sister didn't like the mention of the prenup because she felt like it's planning for the marriage to fail. I disagree. I see a prenup the same way I see getting car insurance. You don't hope and pray for something to go wrong, but the chances are that something might go wrong. So it's better to plan ahead than to be regretting like, oh my God, had I known. Hindsight is always 20/20. But if you already have clear vision now, use it to put yourself in a good position for the future. Deven does stick up for this idea, saying that when it was first mentioned, he was also confused. He didn't know much about it. But when she explained it, he was able to understand better and he was able to get on board with the concept of getting a prenup. So I'm glad they weren't able to talk her out of it. I'm glad they weren't able to dust her out of it. Shasha, they get the family's blessing and they meet their family pig. Good for them. And now we have reached the toxic couple that is Dave and Lauren. Let me get this out of the way before we get into the nitty gritty about this couple. I know way too much about Lauren peeing. Like, Dave needs to shut the hell up about Lauren peeing and how much she moves and all that stuff. That's literally all he has to talk about. When they got to the mixer, he starts talking about her peeing all the time. Okay, she peed a lot. And he always gives her backhanded compliments, or he insults her and then goes, oh, just kidding. I don't like it. I don't like Dave at all. And it's not as if I like Lauren either because she put herself in this situation. It's in my notes that these two give me weird vibes and there's an awkwardness that makes me uncomfortable watching them. What the hell is this? And why would this Love is Blind people show that? Why would you people show that? When they get to the engagement moon, Lauren tells Dave that she got her nails done and she got a wax a bikini wax, and the wax person told her that she's not able to exercise and she's not able to have sex for the next 24 hours. And she says she's really bummed out because she really wanted to do that. I thought she was bummed out because they couldn't have sex, and the responses, Dave was giving her nothing. So the scene seemed really, really weird. And on Instagram, Lauren says that the editors played her. She was talking about being bummed out that she couldn't go to a spin class that she was supposed to attend at the resort. So it wasn't that she was mad about not being able to have sex. She was upset that she couldn't attend her spin class. But you know, Love is Blind want drama, because I 100% thought she was talking about sex and that Dave was just like, ugh, girl. But I guess that makes more sense when you have more information. The next day, Dave says that they hadn't had sex because he feels like she's not ready yet. But when she's ready, he will be there for her. But he makes sure to let us know that he has seen her naked. Clap for yourself, David. Clap for yourself. Then we get the first mention of Lauren's exes. Apparently, David had asked her about her past relationships, and he found out that she had been in a situationship, a friends with benefits situation, and these are guys that he somehow knows. He feels weird that Lauren dated people before coming on the show and that he knows those guys. We then find out that this reason is why he wasn't so crazy about Molly and why he didn't want to move forward with her. He found out that she had dated someone 6 months before coming into the pods. So he's really, really apprehensive now that he has found out that Lauren had some relations even closer than when Molly had her own relations. And then he tells her that he's likely going to be talking to Molly when he sees her. And I'm just like, why do you have to tell her this? Then we get to the couples mixer and he starts asking everybody if they've had sex. The only man we see him ask is Deven. He goes and talks to Virginia. One of the first things he asks, have y'all had sex? Then he asks Taylor, have y'all had sex? Then he asks Monica, have y'all had sex? Like, everybody's like, I guess he was trying to find out whether he's the only one that's not getting any. I guess Lauren is making him wait longer than he likes. I think his main worry is that Lauren has given the Rivers of Joy to someone else before coming on this show, and she is not allowing him to taste it. And I think that's also why he was asking everybody so he can go and tell her, these people are having sex. Oh, those people are having sex. So take off your pants and bust it open for me right now. It's just a theory. We are now out of the honeymoon phase, all of that. Now they're in the real world. And the first thing we hear about is Dave's sister. Eventually we see that David says that he's good with his sister and that he's been able to reassure her that he isn't getting with someone who is there for the wrong reasons. But the rest of his family is going to take some more convincing. Both Lauren and David's family are worried about the show's reputation, like the editing, the social media stuff, the cameras, all of that. We then see David's apartment or his house. I can't remember if it's a house or an apartment. We see that he has no food in his fridge, nothing in his cabinets. I don't know if he just moved into that house before going on the show, but like, why is there no food in your fridge and why is there nothing in your cabinet? Do you even live there? We then find out that Lauren's dad is very, very opposed to them living together before getting married. And they talk a little bit about that. I guess they're gonna figure that out, whatever. That's not the big deal. We then find out that David is hearing from his friends that there's a guy that Lauren dated before coming on the show who is still texting her and even moved into the building that they're filming in. So now they live in the same apartment building. That's crazy. Dave meets Taylor's friends at a cycling class, and that cycling class had Dave struggling. You can see him looking left and right like, oh my God, how are they so good at this? At the meeting with Taylor's friends, why are we still talking about this ex? I know the episode is called The X-Files, but still, Jesus Christ, what do we need to do to let go of this? So this is the story that we get from Lauren's friends, right? This is a guy that Lauren briefly hooked up with before going on the show. They state that their relationship was not serious. It was more of a friends with benefits type thing, that this man might just be looking for some clout. The guy in question has moved into their building and he made his own Love is Blind poster and posted it on Instagram. He's on Instagram acting as if he's going on interviews to tell his truth or tell his side of the story. So clearly this is someone that wants clout, and that matches up with what Lauren's friends say. They also say that he texted them saying, do you guys want to blow up this wedding? So, I mean, this guy doesn't seem like that much of a good person. Lauren, I'm side-eyeing you. What kind of men do you be picking? Because even in a blind simulation, you ended up with Dave. You might need to stay single for a while after this, because I know for a fact this man is not going to marry you. Y'all ain't getting married. Recalibrate your chooser. Whatever criteria you've been using to pick guys, recalibrate it. Her friends then start asking him, are you telling me you didn't flirt with anybody at a bar before coming on this show? You didn't hook up with anybody? You weren't in any type of situationships, any friends with benefits, nothing before coming on this show? Because he can't seem to wrap his head around the possibility that you can be in a situationship before getting into something serious. As long as there's no overlap, I don't see anything wrong with what Lauren did. She was a single woman. She did what she was doing. Then she came on the show and met you. You guys fell in love. So now what's the issue? I really like that Lauren's friends have her back. That was really nice to see. At least somebody got her back, because David is basically exposing her to backlash from people she doesn't even know. And it seems to me that David is just looking for problems. The same way he kept talking about his sister. Please go and be with your sister. There's nobody like your sister. The same way I felt like he was using this sister as a cop-out whenever he decides that he doesn't want to move forward with somebody. I think he's gonna latch on to this ex thing and use it as an excuse as to why he doesn't want to move forward with Lauren. He's probably gonna make her life hell first, but he's not gonna move forward with her. Dave, what is it that you want? What can Lauren do to make you feel comfortable? Because in the next scene that we see them in, they're preparing for David's friends to arrive, but they never arrived because apparently they were on standby. They had an argument again about this ex. What is it that will make you feel comfortable moving forward? And moving forward doesn't mean you have to stay with Lauren. You can literally break up with her, but stop berating her about the situation, because he believes everybody except her. He's listening to the whole of Minneapolis except Lauren. And then as they're having this argument waiting for the friends on standby, we find out that Dave has been somewhere else for the past week that they've been in the Love is Blind apartment. So he hasn't been spending any time with her. He's been with his friends probably, who are supposedly telling you all these bad things about her. Why would you want to be in that environment? I think Lauren needs to wise up quickly. Lauren, please borrow yourself a brain. Leave this man. So the friends don't end up coming because Dave doesn't think it's a good time for them to come. Lauren wants them to come so that she can face them. They're basically her accusers. They're the ones talking to David and saying they know this, they know that. He's saying that what they're saying is fact. He's saying I have facts from them. What they're saying can be fact unless you've seen something. And why are you not showing this to Lauren if you have evidence that she's lying or that she was doing something, whatever. Somebody's lying. It's either you, your friends, or Lauren. She's ready to face these guys and you're like, no. That leads me to believe that there's probably no friends anywhere. He says he doesn't think it's a good time to meet the friends, so he's gonna tell them not to come and he's gonna leave and go be with his friends. Another red flag in the dozens for this guy. As they're having this discussion, Lauren is crying for the majority of the time and this guy doesn't even come near her to comfort her. He doesn't even act like it's facing him that she's crying. It's not given, Lauren. It's not given. But you fought for this. You Royal Rumbled for this. You strong-armed this man into picking you, and now look at you. You are suffering. You don't deserve this. So I'm gonna need you to wise up, and leave that man. I can only hope. That's basically it for these couples right now. The previews that we were shown pissed me off because it's showing that Lauren is still entertaining Dave's nonsense. It's clear that he's looking for an excuse, any excuse to leave her. Except you don't need an excuse. None of this thing that you're doing is necessary. If you don't want to be with her, let her go. And it's that simple. You don't have to keep bringing up her past situationships and allowing her to say all these things that are not necessary on camera. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for making it this far. Don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like the video if you like the video, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get notified anytime I drop a new video. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!